These pirates thought they were hunting easy gold, until they realized they were the ones being hunted. Even with a gun to his chest, he started laughing. Because he knew his wife wasn't just a housewife. She was their worst nightmare. The movie kicks off with a terrifying scene in the dead of night. A violent storm is raging across the ocean, and in the middle of the chaos, a crew of ruthless pirates attacks a merchant ship. They show no mercy, slaughtering the innocent passengers and crew until only the captain, Botan, is left alive. The pirates take Botan captive because they found something suspicious in his cargo, treasure stamped with their own pirate seal. It turns out, someone had stolen a massive hoard of gold from these bandits, and they are hell-bent on getting it back. They interrogate Botan, but he refuses to talk. While tearing the ship apart, the pirates find a letter that reveals exactly which island the ship sailed from. Without a second thought, the bandits set a course for that island to hunt down the rest of their gold. The scene shifts to a quiet island a few days later, where we meet a woman named Ercell. She's standing on the shore, scanning the horizon with her binoculars. She's waiting for her husband, who has been missing at sea for 70 days. Heartbroken, she returns to her home, where we meet her young son, who is unable to walk, and her younger sister, Elizabeth. We quickly learn that Elizabeth is restless and planning to run away from the island with her boyfriend. Ercell has no idea about her sister's secret plan. That night, Elizabeth writes a goodbye letter to Ercell and starts packing her things to escape. Meanwhile, at their secret meeting spot, Elizabeth's boyfriend is waiting for her. But before she can arrive, several strange, menacing men surround him. Their intentions are clearly violent, though the movie cuts away before we see what happens to him. Back at the house, Elizabeth sneaks into Ercell's room, kisses her nephew goodbye, and leaves her letter on the nightstand. As Elizabeth slips out, the sound of bottles rattling upstairs wakes Ercell. She looks out the window, expecting to see her sister, but instead, she spots a total stranger lurking outside. Sensing immediate danger, Ercell doesn't panic. She jumps into action. She locks the doors, grabs her son, and hides him safely in the basement. Then, she arms herself with a massive gun and stands guard at the door. But she's been flanked. Before she can fire at the front door, someone ambushes her from behind. A group of men swarm her, beating her mercilessly. The leader of this group, a cruel man named Scout, steps forward and shoves a gold biscuit in her face. He demands to know where the rest of the treasure is hidden. Ursel gasps out that she knows nothing about any treasure, but Scout doesn't believe her. Enraged by her answer, he orders his men to continue the brutal assault. The next morning, Elizabeth reaches the secret meeting spot, but her heart shatters when she discovers her boyfriend's lifeless body. Just as the horror sinks in, a massive pirate ship drops anchor on the shore. The ruthless pirate captain, Connor, has arrived with a full army of mercenaries to reclaim his stolen gold. The islanders immediately realize these men are cold-blooded killers, and chaos erupts across the island. To protect the vulnerable, all the women, children, and elderly are rushed into the local church for safety. The men arm themselves with heavy cannons to defend the coast, but they are completely outmatched. This was back when firearms were a new and terrifying invention. The peaceful islanders have never even seen a gun, while the pirates are already raining lead down on them. Elizabeth watches the massacre from a distance, paralyzed by fear. Meanwhile, Connor confronts the villagers, demanding to know which house belongs to the girl with the treasure. The islanders are confused. They can't believe a massive pirate fleet has invaded just to find a simple fishing girl. But Connor sneers, telling them they've been lied to. This woman is no ordinary villager. She's someone with a very dark and dangerous past. Back at the house, Ursel suddenly snaps awake. With the strength of a seasoned warrior, she rips through her restraints and starts taking out Scout's men one by one. She crashes through a window, hunting down one of the mercenaries and beating him until he draws his last breath. Her rage is unstoppable. Even with her own body battered and bruised, she doesn't stop until the threat is neutralized. Once the immediate danger is gone, Ursel calmly heads to the basement to retrieve her son. She holds him close, telling him everything is okay, acting as if she hadn't just fought a life-or-death battle. Suddenly, the village priest arrives with a grim warning. He tells Ursel that these pirates are here specifically for her, and they've already turned the village into a graveyard. Ursel realizes she needs to flee to protect her son, but the priest convinces her that running won't stop the bloodshed. She needs to face this head-on to save the island. Amidst the chaos, Ursel discovers the letter from Elizabeth and realizes her sister is out there alone in the crosshairs of the pirates. She hands her son over to the priest for protection, grabs a knife, and sets off into the jungle. She races toward the spot Elizabeth mentioned in her letter. On the way, she spots Elizabeth stumbling back, traumatized. Ercell sneaks up and grabs her, and for a second, Elizabeth is terrified she's been caught by a pirate, but she's relieved to find her sister's arms around her. Through tears, Elizabeth tells her the pirates have already started killing the people they love. Back at the house, Connor's mercenaries are tearing the place apart, but they're coming up empty-handed. There's no sign of Ursel and, more importantly, no sign of the gold. Connor is losing his mind with rage. As he storms out of the house, he spots tracks in the dirt, the unmistakable marks of a wheelchair leading away into the brush. Knowing Ursel's son can't walk, Connor realizes this is their trail. He orders his men to hunt them down like animals. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, the priest is struggling. The wheelchair has shifted into a deep pit, and he's stuck. Just as panic sets in, they hear someone rushing through the trees. It's Ercell and Elizabeth. Ercell springs into action, hoisting her son out of the pit and leading them to a hidden spot by the river. She reveals a small wooden raft she had stashed away for an emergency just like this. She quickly gets Elizabeth and her son onto the raft, telling them to cross and hide in a secret location she's already prepared. She promises them she'll be back, but they have to go now. By the time Connor and his pirates reach the riverbank, they only find the empty wheelchair. Connor knows they're close. He spots the priest standing alone on the bank, the others having already made it across. To force the priest to talk, Connor doesn't kill him. He ruthlessly fires a shot into the priest's leg. Even in agonizing pain, the priest refuses to betray Ursel. Furious, Connor orders his men to swim across and catch them. But the river is a death trap. A swarm of crocodiles lunges from the water, dragging the pirates under in a bloody frenzy. A few manage to make it to the other side, but Ercell is waiting for them. She sends her sister and son further into the woods and turns to face the mercenaries alone. The pirates are armed with modern guns, while Ursel has nothing but a single knife. But a knife is all she needs. In a display of pure, high-octane combat, she tears through the armed men, taking them out with terrifying precision. Watching from behind the trees, Elizabeth and the boy are absolutely shocked. They've never seen this side of her before. Suddenly, Connor's voice booms through the jungle from across the water. He's done playing games. He shouts out a chilling ultimatum: "Bring all my treasure to your house tonight, or your husband dies." The world stands still for Ursel. Hearing that her husband is alive and being held captive changes everything. She doesn't hesitate. She answers back in the secret, gritty slang of the pirates, a language she clearly knows by heart, and agrees to the deal. After leading her son and sister into a hidden cave, Ursel reveals a secret that no one on the island could have ever imagined. This wasn't just any cave, it was a stash house filled with maritime supplies and gear, all meticulously organized by Ursel herself. Elizabeth and the boy are stunned, questioning how a simple fishing girl could fight like a demon and navigate like a pro. Ursel realizes the time for lies is over. She looks them in the eye and drops a bombshell: she was once a pirate captain. Years ago, while she was still young, Connor and his bloodthirsty crew ambushed her ship. She fought with everything she had, but the pirates were too many. They slaughtered her entire crew and took her captive. Over time, she didn't just survive, she became one of them, rising through the ranks and learning the lethal arts of combat and strategy. She explains that she walked away from that life the moment she fell in love and got married, but now her past has come screaming back for the gold. With the truth out in the open, Ursel shifts into mission mode. She tells Elizabeth that if she doesn't return by dawn, she must take the boy and the small ship hidden in the cave and vanish. She promises that no matter what happens, she will find them. Armed to the teeth, Ursel slips into the night. Meanwhile, back at her house, her husband is being held in chains. He's a broken man, weeping and apologizing when Ursel manages to sneak in through a secret tunnel. He confesses the truth: he stole a single piece of pirate gold, hoping to sell it to pay for his son's medical treatment. He never meant to bring a war to their doorstep. Ursel hushes him, assuring him that she will protect their family. She tries to break his chains, but they are secured with a heavy lock. Knowing she's out of time, she hands him a knife so he can defend himself and slips back into the shadows just as Connor's heavy footsteps echo through the house. Outside, Ursel stands tall, staring down the entire pirate crew. She reveals her hand: she's rigged the entire area with hidden explosives. One wrong step, and they're all going to meet their maker. She demands a simple trade: her husband's life for the chest of gold she's brought as promised. Connor steps out of the shadows, skeptical that she actually has the loot. Ercell cracks the chest open just enough to let the gold glint in the moonlight. Connor signals his men to bring her husband forward. For a split second, it looks like the nightmare is over, but Granite, Lee, knows better. She knows the history here, and she knows Connor's thirst for revenge won't be satisfied with just gold. Suddenly, a sniper's bullet cracks through the air. It was aimed for the husband's heart, but luckily, it only grazes him. That single shot ignites a powder keg of violence. Ursel goes into a frenzy, taking on pirates from all sides, but while she's distracted, Connor moves in. He pins her husband down and presses a heavy sword against his chest. Ursel screams for him to stop, begging him to take her life instead, but Connor wants her to feel the same pain he felt years ago. He looks her dead in the eye and plunges the blade deep into her husband's chest. As Ursel lunges forward in a blind rage, a pirate shoots her in the leg, dropping her to the ground. Connor walks over, grabs her by the hair, and tells her to stop fighting. It's revealed that Connor doesn't just want the gold, he wants Ursel back. He wants her to return to the sea and rule as a pirate captain by his side. But Ursel would rather die. She grabs a nearby torch and sets a fuse on the well behind her, diving into the dark water just as the treasure chest explodes. The blast is massive, wiping out a huge chunk of Connor's and Granite's men. Granite is furious. She warned Connor to keep it professional and just take the money. Now, their forces are decimated and their power is slipping. She demands they end the war and leave, but Connor isn't taking orders anymore. He turns on Granite and kills her in cold blood, taking full control of the remaining pirates. He rallies his shaken crew with a lie, telling them the gold Ursel brought was fake and the real hoard is still hidden. He promises them that if they find it, they can all retire and live like kings with their families. Greed is a powerful motivator, and the pirates gear up for one last hunt. Meanwhile, a battered and bleeding Ursel crawls out of the well and stumbles back toward her secret hideout, her heart shattered but her resolve stronger than ever. Ursel is in bad shape. Her sister, Elizabeth, has to step up and perform a makeshift surgery to dig the bullet out of her leg. As the pain fades, the heartbreak sets in. Ursel has to break the news to her son and sister that their father is gone, taken by the same pirates who destroyed her life years ago. The family is devastated, but there's no time to mourn. Connor and his remaining men are already closing in, tracking the hidden tunnel system toward Ursel's hideout. But Ursel isn't just waiting to die. She knows this war only ends when either she or Connor is in the ground. Even her young son and Elizabeth arm themselves, ready to fight for their lives. As the pirates swarm the tunnel, Ursel unleashes a hail of gunfire, picking them off one by one from the shadows. Connor, frustrated and losing men fast, screams for her to stop fighting like a coward and face him in the open. Ursel, fueled by pure vengeance, steps out to meet him. While the two leaders clash, Elizabeth tries to sneak the boy to safety, but a pirate intercepts them. In a surprising moment of bravery, Ursel's son uses a knife to fend off the attacker, saving both himself and his aunt. As the injured pirate crawls toward them, Elizabeth notices a familiar locket around his neck, the very one she gave to her boyfriend. Realizing she's staring at her lover's killer, Elizabeth doesn't hesitate. She takes her revenge and ends him on the spot. Outside, the sun begins to rise over a brutal scene. Ursel and Connor are locked in a savage duel, both battered and bleeding, but neither is willing to back down. Connor has the upper hand and sneers at Ursel to finally give up, but she spits back that she'd rather die. Just as Connor moves in for the kill, Elizabeth appears and fires a shot, wounding him. Ursel seizes the opening and plunges her blade deep into Connor's stomach, ending his reign of terror once and for all. Ursel collapses, her body finally giving out after the long night of violence. Her son manages to row a small boat over to the mountain base to pick them up. As they climb aboard, the boy's foot catches on a loose plank. He shifts the wood, and their eyes go wide. Hidden beneath the floorboards is the legendary hoard of pirate gold. Through the pain and the tears, Ursel and Elizabeth start to laugh. The nightmare is finally over. With the pirates dead and a fortune in their hands, they are finally free to leave the island and start a new, luxurious life. And that is the epic conclusion to the Bluff. If you loved this story of revenge and survival, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Cinemaned. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're the first to see our next recap. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.